What is up, everybody? It is I, Ronin, and today I'm coming at you with a learning how to play for a slightly newer archetype called Amazement. Now, if you don't know what Amazement is, essentially they are sort of like a festival, carnival, theme park theme deck. All of the traps are kind of references to other archetypes in the game, and in reality, they aren't super great. But I tried to do what I could with them, and I think I made a decently interesting version of the deck. So anyways, let's get right into it, starting with our trap cards, as that is the primary gimmick of the deck. So, all of the Amazement, or Amaze attraction cards, I should say, are normal traps that have various effects that will equip to a monster, and those effects will differ depending on if the monster equipped is one you have or one your opponent has. So let's go ahead and get right into them. First, we have Majestic Menace, and if it's equipped to you, the equipped monster gains 500 attack as well as a battle or card effect shield. And then if it's equipped to your opponent, the equipped monster loses 500 attack for each attraction trap that are equipped to a monster. We have Rapid Racing, which, when equipped to you, lets you target a card in the opponent's graveyard, put it back into put that monster back into the deck, and then you get to change the equipped monster's battle position, so attack to defense, defense to attack. And if it's equipped to your opponent, you increase the equipped monster's level by 1 until the end of the turn, and if you do, change its battle position. Kind of a funky thing to do against synchro decks, not the most useful thing though. Next up, we have Cyclone Coaster. When equipped to you, it lets you pop a spell trap. Send it to the graveyard, accurately. If it's equipped to your opponent, you can add an Amazement monster from your deck to your hand, and then in both cases, this will get sent to the graveyard. Then we have probably the best Amazement trap, Horror House, based on my personal favorite archetype, Ghost Trick. When it's equipped to you, it makes it so that you can negate a opponent's monster's effects once per turn by targeting it. Equipped to your opponent, the monster changes to face-down defense position. So a very good interruption and kind of the primary negation / interruption you're going to have in this deck. After that, we have Wonder Wheel, which, when equipped to you, lets you, during the main phase, place a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, then draw a new card. And if it's equipped to your opponent, it lets you switch the monster's attack and defense till the end of the turn. So, again, the equipped to your opponent effect is kind of useless, but it does help you dig for your deck, which is nice. And then for our final Amazement trap, we have Vanquish Viking. When it's equipped to you, it lets you, as a once per turn ability, negate an attack and stop the battle phase, as well as changing the equipped monster's position. So, pretty good. And when it's equipped to your opponent, when that monster activates an effect, it will be sent back to the hand immediately after that effect resolves, so pretty cool. Like I said, generally speaking, Horror House is the one that you're going to want to see the most. Vanquish Viking after that. The last sort of Amazement archetype trap we have is Amazement Family Face. Unlike the other ones, it does not equip to any monsters. Effectively, it just lets you steal a monster that is equipped with a attraction trap. However, it gains 500 attack. It cannot activate its effects, and it is also treated as an Amazement monster. So I wasn't really able to figure out a good amount to run this at, because it's very sort of situational. If the deck is doing what it's supposed to do, it's great, but on its own, it's kind of trash. So 1 to free, it really depends on build. After that, our last trap card we have is Infinite Permanence, obviously, because, hand traps are nice. Now, though, we can talk about the other Amazement cards. The only Amazement spell we are running in this deck is our Amazement Time Ticket, which has varying effects depending on what turn it's activated on. If it's during your turn, you can add an Amazement card from your deck to your hand. If it's your opponent's turn, you can set a attraction trap directly from your deck. It is a hard once per turn, as well as costing 800 life points to activate. So you know what? Rhoda's good. Rhoda is very good. However, now we will get into the monster lineup for Amazement, starting with our quite possibly the best one, I would say, maybe? Amazement Attendant Comica. So it is a level 4 light machine. 1400 attack, 1800 defense. And when it's normal summoned, you can set a attraction trap directly from your deck. And as a quick effect, and this is one that all of the low-level Amazement monsters have, basically they can, well, except for Delia, they can switch things that are equipped. So, like, example, if something's equipped to a opponent's monster, you can change what monster it's equipped to, move it back to your side of the field, whatever. Bufo here has the same effect. However, Bufo's effect, going over him because he's the most similar to Kamika, when he is normal summoned, you can target an attraction trap in the grave and one monster your opponent controls, then equip that monster with that trap. So it's a good recovery option. You can run it at 1 or 2, definitely not at 3, just because it doesn't do much turn 1, and this is a very turn 1 build. There are turn 2 builds, but we can get into that later. After that, though, we have Amazement Assistant Delia, another level 4 light machine, this time with 1800 attack and 1400 defense. And by revealing a attraction trap in your hand, you can special summon it, and you can send an attraction trap from your hand or face-up field to the grave to set a differently named attraction trap from your deck. It is a hard once per turn. So this is our primary way of getting to your Horror House or your Vanquished Viking. And in specific matchups, say, Rapid Racing or Wonder Wheel isn't really helpful, you can get rid of those in order to just, get to the things you actually do want. The last Amazement monster that we have is Amazement Administrator Archelio. So it is a level 7 Dark Psychic monster, 2600 attack, 2200 defense. And once per turn, while it's on the field, you can banish any number of attraction traps from the grave, then target that many cards on your opponent's field, pop them. So it's a decent way to clear some stuff out and definitely incentivizes using the traps. However, its other effects are a hard once per turn each. If a trap card is activated except during the damage step, you can special summon it from your hand. And if your opponent normally special summons a monster except during the damage step, you can target one of those monsters to equip it with a attraction trap from your deck. So, again, this card puts so much stuff together. It special summon itself, it pops, and it also allows you to run the kind of niche 1-0s because at that point you just pull them out if you need them, otherwise they're just kind of fodder for other things. So yeah, it's not bad. Now for my sick tech of the day, you might have noticed some cyber dragons in here, and let me explain because there's a small cyber dragon engine in here to help us get to our Kamika and Delia. So basically the play goes as follows. You summon Cyber Dragon Core, use its effect to search your Cyber Repair Plant, then you link Cyber Dragon Core away into the Almirage over here, at which point you will have technically a Cyber Dragon in your graveyard, so you can activate your Cyber Repair Plant to search a light machine from your deck, which can be Delia, at which point, assuming you have a attraction trap, which you have a lot of, you can reveal it, special summon Delia to the field, at which point, if you would like to, if it's a trap you don't want, you can send that trap to the graveyard with Delia, get your Horror House directly on the field, and from there you have a effect protected Delia, as well as a negation that you very, very much want, as well as whatever else is in your hand. Ways to sort of help us get to this engine, we have our Cyber Emergency to search our core or Cyber Dragons if we wish. We also have free copies of Cyber Dragon in order to make use of things like Chimera Tech, Infinity, as well as Mega Fleet, because that does give us a bit more of a going second option, as well as going first, so it's pretty decent. But that's the main deck. Again, sort of the primary goal is to summon Kamika or Delia and get access to your Horror House. Now for the extra deck, though, we have free Mega Fleet, as I said, so we could take full advantage of that Cyber Dragon thing. Chimera Tech Overdragon at 1 in case we run to a Dark Heavy matchup. Infinity and Nova in order to have Infinity access for a negate. A couple of Utopias in case we want to beat over something big, because, rank 4s are technically things you can make in this deck. Baguska in case, we need to go to plan B. Exciton Knight for some easy board wiping. Emerald for a little bit of recovery. The Nightmare Package for extra removal, and we already went over the purpose of the Almirage here. Now for the side deck, though, we have free Gamecill in order to drop a turtle on if we need to, an extra Bufo in case our opponent is really forcing us to recover, free Lightning Storm in case we are in a situation where we need to wipe the board and go second, Feather Duster, as well as Dark Ruler no more in order for some more board busting, a Called by the Grave in case of hand traps, an extra Family Face or Majestic Menage in case we are running into a more destruction-heavy matchup or things are just going well. And then we have the other Amazement spell, Amazement Special Show. It's a quick play. And when the opponent activates a card or effect that targets an Amazement monster you control, you can target one of those Amazement monsters you control, you return it to the hand, and then you can special summon a different Amazement monster from your hand. It's not bad protection, but unless your opponent is doing a lot of targeting, which not many decks do now, it's not worth having. And yes, there is the Amazement field spell. However, I found it not so good in a going first build like this one. However, there is an argument to be made for it in a going second deck. But yeah, that's the deck. So if you're new here, we just go over a few replays. I show you what I liked in the deck, what I didn't like, what I wish I could improve, so on and so forth. But yeah, all that being said, I will see you guys in the replays. Alright, everyone, welcome back to, well, the only replay, because apparently YGO Pro decided to say fuck you and got rid of my other replays. But this one works too. So we are playing as player, we are tab as per usual, and this kind of shows what the deck is ideally will end up doing turn 1. But let's go and get right into it. So, I will be starting. I go ahead and activate the Cyber Emergency to search the Cyber Dragon Core, which I will then summon to search my Cyber Repair Plant, which I'll then link away into Almirage, which turns on our Cyber Repair Plant, so we will be able to search our Delia. After which we reveal our Vanquish Viking to special summon her from the hand, after which we will use her effect to discard the Vanquish Viking to set the Horror House to our field. Thankfully, we do have our Arcellino in hand, so that is also something that we will be able to summon and disrupt during our opponent's turn. So not a bad play. Anyways, speaking of our opponent, they're going to activate Upstart Goblin, got to the most important Harpy card, at which point we're going to use the Horror House in an attempt to try to basically keep her from summoning stuff from deck. Unfortunately, I did not anticipate the Double Feather Storm. It's unfortunate for me, so we go and just activate our stuff while we can. Then he's going to go ahead and use the Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault as well to get some more summons and tag out that Harpy Lady's Channeler. We summon our Archellion. Then we equip our Horror House. Almirage is negated, and the chain just sort of resolves. It's going to go ahead and link it into Firefighting Doll Darumidal, which is basically just pops spell traps. We're going to go ahead and do that, but, negated, so unfortunate. Then he's going to go ahead and pop our Horror House as well as their own Twin Twisters, setting the Trap Trick, and then it is on to us. We're going to switch our Delia into attack mode, go ahead and activate our Arcellino's effect by banishing our Vanquish Viking and our Horror House to pop what is on his field. However, he is going to go ahead and proc that Trap Trick to get the Tri-Brigade Revolt, which is problematic for us. We do pop the other two things and get to summon another Arcellino. At this point, we just go into the battle phase, attack. Do some pretty decent damage there. Go ahead and link away Arcellino and Delia for the Nightmare Phoenix to try to force out that Revolt, which we do successfully, holding on to the Cyber Dragon in case, we absolutely get blown back in the next turn. So he's going to go ahead and special summon that big Shurag, which banishes something when it's summoned, or when other, Wing Beast, Beast Warrior, etc., so forth are summoned. So he's going to go ahead and banish our Arcellino, which means we're going to draw, get the Nerval, incredible top deck, to make yet another Link monster, and you can kind of see where this is going from here, because, made the Simorgh Link. Not much you're going to do with the Simorgh Link outside of summon something degenerate. At which point our opponent's just going to attack, do some good damage on us. And it's back to us, and Simorgh is going to go ahead and special summon a barrier statue from the deck, so unfortunately we will not be able to summon our Cyber Dragon. go into Mega Fleet and try to turn this around. However, we are going to go into our draw phase, draw the Comica, which isn't bad because it lets us set something from the deck. We're going to go ahead and set our Majestic Menage because big attack monsters. At which point we're going to the battle phase, attacking over the Link Rio first because it's going to zero out against the Storm Winds anyhow. He's going to summon an Apex Avian in the end phase, which procs the Shurag, which is going to banish our Majestic thing, at which point he's just going to attack for gain. And that's kind of the deck. The issue with Amazement isn't that it's bad necessarily. There are consistent plays you can make that are fairly cool, as well as setting up for a lot of disruption during your opponent's turn. The issue with it comes in the fact that it's very slow about it compared to other control decks. Like, for example, maybe not a fair example, but an example, Dragonlink. They set up huge boards with lots of negates. Now they can also equip Buster Whelp, I guess, which is always going to be good. But they set up a lot of different forms of negation and disruption. And while this deck does set up a lot of sort of interaction during your opponent's turn, it only really sets up one thing that you can use, and even then it's usually easily outed because consistently you're putting on one monster negate. So it's a little hard. No, not a bad deck. Pretty fun deck. Just not as good as many other sort of like rogue tier control decks. But yeah, that all being said, let me know what you guys thought of the deck. Is there anything I could improve in it? Anything I could, anything I did well with? Any decks you want me to play? I'm always happy to take suggestions. But yeah, all that being said, like if you liked, comment if you have something to say, and subscribe if you want some more. This has been Ronin, signing off.